The thing you're asking them to do is above the standard acolytes of the temple. So one of the Gnomish priests actually comes out to speak to you on it. And you can tell that she's taking the issue pretty seriously. Here's the problem. Standard cost for a temple to cast the first... It's like, 25 gold per spell level, give or take? It's in that ballpark. Because she's convinced that you are an adherent of the temple, and because your need is great, that cost can be reduced somewhat. We'll call it 15 gold per cast. The issue is that the bless spell doesn't last very long. She can speak her blessing over this crossbow bolt, but if it's to be a magical blessing, by which I mean literally the bless spell, has a duration of 1 minute.
Okay, so that's starting to sound like we need someone with us.
Alternatively, she's able to create quantities of holy water, which if she speaks a blessing over, gives you a way to kind of transport the bless spell in a bottle with one use each. But that's much more expensive. I think it costs 25 gold to create a vial of holy water. You need like silver shavings or some such. I'd have to look it up. Mm-hmm. And because this costs materials, she's not able to reduce the price. So what she would do is give you a vial of water that has been blessed in such a way to make it holy water.
Yeah.
And then after you dip a crossbow bolt into it, that one bolt will have the blessing for 1 minute. But the effect of dipping it renders the rest of the water in that vial inert.
Does she know anything about the effects that the bolt might have? Like, how many bolts do we need?
To refer back to... Oh, I closed the text file where I put down her message from Warlock's Bane. Mm-hmm. Warlock's Bane's message implied you only need one.
Yeah.
But it was also kind of grammatically vague. And notably, she didn't respond to your second message. Your follow-up.
So she said 25 each?
I believe it's 25. I've got the PHP right now, and I'm going to double-check that price. Because the method of making holy water actually does take materials. The player's handbook does have an index, but is holy water on it? It is not. Excellent.
I think it's under the adventure equipment.
That's where I'm looking next.
Like
the ceremony spell creates holy water, so that probably has it.
Right.
Yeah, ceremony costs 25 gold pieces of powdered silver to make holy water. That's in Xanthar's on 151.
That's what I'm thinking of then, the cost of making it. But that cost is probably built into the price of whatever it costs in the PHP.
Yeah.
So why can't I find equipment in the PHP?
Because we've been especially bad. I think that's the curse, is you can't find what you're looking for in the PHP.
Never. I know how much bagpipes costs.
Well, I mean, of course. Why wouldn't you?
I mean,
you know.
who wouldn't?
Adventuring gear. Flask of holy water costs, 25 gold pieces. That includes... That's the price of the spell to create it.
Okay. In that case, I don't have enough money on me for as much as I think I would like. I'm going to go back, talk to my companions.
Okay.
We'll figure out how much we want to carry with us. But I thank her for her time, and I ask her, like, 'cause she offered the 1 minute as, like, a possibility. Is she implying that someone would be willing to assist us in things like this? Like, come with us?
She assures you that none of the priests of Garl Glittergolds would like to go marching headlong into danger.
Well, whether they would wish to, or whether they will...
They have other means that they would look to attempt to stymie this fiend if it had become necessary. Of course, there are other temples in Dungeon.
Oh, no, I would never think of it.
What other methods? Like, can you do to stymie this fiend?
They would. If Seeker had come in with a story about how they're going to trick and trap the fiend without putting anybody in active line of danger.
Do you have a way to do that? Particularly, if you have a way to do that we can implement without tipping our hands that we suspect that he is in fact a fiend.
Well, she doesn't know enough about this particular type of fiend. She would have to defer to your judgment, which means Seeker would have to put together the plan.
What if you have some sort of blessing? One thing we believe that the fiend is pretending to be someone else in the town, and we're not going to go around just shooting people without being absolutely 100% certain. If you have a way of tricking the person that we're looking into avoiding us, so that we can get this information, that would be very interesting.
She agrees. She says, as soon as you have a plan, let her know. And at that point, she can decide whether one of her priests will go along as a higher
Sounds good.
or not. So we're working our way towards shooting Savad with a crossbow. Or multiple crossbows.
We're working our way there. So the thing is, we know he has the powder. It's a new day. I got 3 more spell charges.
Okay.
I'm very interested in looking into, see if I can find in his shop exactly where that powder is being stored. Because here's my thought, everyone. If this is Seeker gathering you up and working his way through this plan, we know that powder is there. We also know that powder is getting given out if he is the flying pig. If he is not, then people would likely come in and smoke it there. Thus, what we are looking for is that quantity of powder that he has finding its way distributed amongst the town. I think that if I can find where that is, and I can locate it, see it moving, because that's one of the abilities of the spell is that you can follow it if it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Find the person who has it, and then find some connection of that person to the flying pig. I'm confident enough to be shooting people with crossbows.
It's like we got to get to what's the percent confidence level to shoot somebody with a crossbow? 80, 90%?
Yeah, we got to get to 80 or 90%.
Okay.
And I think that if we find him delivering powder to someone who perhaps has one of these letters or is working for the flying pig, I'm there.
Okay.
So where are you casting the spell, and what time of day is this occurring?
Let's first attempt to when I pinged off of his shop, did I get a specific location of his shop, or just generally inside of it?
No, it's just generally inside the shop somewhere.
Okay. Does he? Have you guys ever noticed him having runners that he sends out?
Oh, he definitely does. You guys have spent enough time in the shop that you've seen them come and go.
Then I think what I want to do is spend some time near the shop waiting for people coming and going.
Mm-hmm.
If I spot someone looking like they're making a smaller delivery,
mm-hmm.
I want to cast the spell then and see if they're carrying some of the substance. And if so, I'm going to follow them.
Okay. What's everybody else doing today?
I'm still building stuff.
Still building stuff?
How can
Like
Lucius be of
crossbows.
help to that plan, do you think?
If you have any, do you have any sort of spells that might come in handy? I don't know your toolkit as much as
I could
You
fly. I could cast fly and make you move faster.
if you can do that. I can get Florian to make me invisible, and then I'll have no problem following the guy.
Oh, I can make you invisible. You can just do that. You just come out of the lab for a minute.
Florian's
Sure.
too busy sitting on the bars chugging glasses of water.
Oh, water's just gonna make it worse, Florian.
Okay, turn the crank 3 rotations clockwise and you'll get some cream.
Okay.
You really should label this stuff.
But then we'd have to change the labels once we change how it works.
Gus is from the desert. He's just whatever.
And he eats sand? What?
Oh yeah, invisibility lasts an hour. All right, yeah.
No,
that's
he's
totally
used to
doable.
spicy food.
Okay.
Flight only lasts 10 minutes, though.
I just need. I can get myself out of trouble. Flight would help me get myself into trouble.
Okay.
I could also give you. Do you want the invisibility?
The invisibility for sure.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you invisibility.
How long does this last?
An hour,
Okay.
and then you can get your flights on the go.
Do you want us to maintain distance, but somewhere nearby where we can rush for help? Rush to help.
Yeah, that would be
Okay.
very helpful.
Right.
And be sure to prep Featherfall if you're going to go flying around, because I'm not going to be there to catch you.
Oh, if I start falling, actually, I don't know Featherfall. I know how to like teleport myself, so presumably I can just teleport myself to the ground.
Does that stop the inertia?
I don't know.
Try to find out.
Reminded of that scene in the 2009 Star Trek film where they're teleporting or they're transporting while falling, and they just slam into the pad on the ship.
No, it's like in Just Cause, where you fall 500 feet, and in the last 5 feet, you just hit the ground with your grappling hook. And they'll take
Held
damage.
action to cast. Whatchamacallit?
So, okay, what's the question? Like, what spell are you, Misty Step or something?
Yeah, Misty Step. If I held on to Misty Step and I was like prepared to start falling, could I just teleport myself?
You would, but my read of Misty Step is that it wouldn't stop you from moving after the step. Because the idea is you're moving while you use your bonus action.
Yeah.
So you could cast the spell, but you'd still have a bunch of downward momentum.
Like, you're saying it would like remove 30. It's a 30-foot range, right?
Yeah.
So maybe.
Well, I'm not planning on flying 100 feet in the air anyway, so this is mostly going to be moot.
It seems like a lot of work to avoid like 2d6 damage.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not too worried about it.
Okay. Seeker. You got invisibility and fly, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Fly is probably going to run out over the course of you following this person.
10 minutes.
That's fine. I'm going to use it once I've got like. I'll keep track in my head. Once I've got like a minute left, I'll try to look for somewhere where I can follow him without flying.
Okay. The runner you find that's carrying some quantity of powder is a teenage girl that you've seen hanging around the dead man's den. Until this moment, you weren't sure whether she was one of Savad's employees or not. She's definitely not a beauty. She doesn't, she's not like his pet bard that he keeps or his other. He almost has his own harem in there. This girl's definitely not a member, if that's the case. Keeping a low profile, not wearing lavish colors like the rest of his employees might.
Awesome.
But she
That's
does have
exactly what I'm like.
does have a little parcel that she's carrying. And you make your way through the market district over into West Harbor in the direction of what you know to be the Gwilva family manor. This shipping family. However, she does not go to the manor.
Okay.
She goes to this just little dive inn at the end of the street. Barely even an inn, more of just this little fish shop that for lunch and dinner every day they throw out bowls of slop. And she disappears around an alley behind this little building.
Okay.
And then after a few moments, you see her again. And this time, you do not see her carrying the parcel.
Okay. I'm going to attempt to slip into that building. I want to find where she dropped off the parcel.
So you're going back into the alley where she went?
Yeah.
Okay. So Lucius, you were with Seeker at the Dead Man's Den? Because you had to cast Fly, is that correct? So at the start of the journey? Did you follow her along as well, or did you just leave him to it?
I'd like to have given him some backup, but I don't see how I could keep up without casting fly on myself, and I don't have invisibility, so I'd be very conspicuous.
You could, but remember, he couldn't have traveled any faster than this girl was moving, and she was on foot.
Yeah, the fly was mostly so I could stick to her. Like,
All right.
Okay.
Well, do we have some way to? We have like ways of.
who are you with, Lucius? Because if you're with the others, I can send you ascending once I have the like exact location.
Okay.
So if you can get in the general area, I can tell you exactly where I am.
Okay. Yeah.
Seeker, what you see in the back alley, you see the back of the shop. It's in between meals right now. So you see the proprietor of the shop back there with a big vat of something boiling over that he's worrying at with a wooden ladle, taking fish and deboning them on this work surface he has back there. And across the alley from him, leaned up against another building, you see a young nobleman. He's wearing his nice-looking clothes and very expensive-looking boots, but over it he's got drawn, like a tattered, drawn cloak. A human boy, maybe 17, 18. Just screaming like, I'm a noble guy, but I'm trying to be incognito. Like, this is how peasants dress, right? They put on a tattered cloak and pull the hood up.
Uh-huh.
And he's
Yes,
holding
Lucius
the
has done this
parcel.
before.
Lucius. It was Tuesday. He's holding the parcel that the little girl had brought in. And as you peer into the alley, he's kind of tearing the paper off of it. And as he does, the man working, deboning these fish for his evening stew. Don't do that here in the alley. Take it home. The boy replies, my father finds out I have this, he'll kill me. Is that what you want? And they have this kind of little argument about whether or not he should open the parcel here in the alley.
But it sounds like the person doing the deboning also knows what's going on.
Does sound like that, yes.
Okay. I'm going to try to get a good read on that guy. And I think once the nobleman starts heading back to his place, I'm going to follow him just to make sure that it's the man that I'm suspecting.
What are you doing to get a good read on the guy? Like, what are you looking for? What are you trying to figure out?
So I'm just... There are certain spells that as long as you recognize someone, then you can cast them to locate them. I don't know those spells yet, but I know they exist.
Make an insight check.
That is a 10.
It's difficult to say what kind of arrangement these two men have, and it would be difficult to figure out how you can learn without breaking your invisibility.
Yeah, I think I'm just going to listen in as much as they're willing to say to one another and then follow the nobleman.
They have an argument about whether or not he should open the parcel, and in the end the old man wins, and the boy just kind of grumbles and tucks it up under his cloak, but doesn't get up to move.
Okay. I'm willing to sit here as long as I need to, because I also know invisibility. So...
And kind of by the end of the spell, before, I guess you'd have like an intuition of when a spell's about to end. I suppose that would have to be the case.
Or you have a watch. An invisible watch.
The stew seems to be finished, and he starts doling it out into bowls and starting to line them up on the shelf that faces the street as the evening diners start lining up. Money starts flying. He's not making as much as Hundiger would, but the whole time the boy just sits in the alley.
Okay, yeah, I definitely want to see why this... If he's not even taking the drugs, I definitely want to see why he's waiting here. So I'm going to cast invisibility on my own self.
And the sun sets
keep watching.
as the fishermen and other workmen of the day taking their meals here. And at the end, the old man starts cleaning up his equipment, hanging up the nets for the night, drawing the shutter down over the storefront. And the arrangement becomes very clear. At the very end of the night, long after the sun has gone down, the last man has been served. The old man permits the boy to open the box, gives him some small quantity of the powder, maybe enough for one or two pipes.
Mm-hmm.
And the boy takes the rest of the box and hides it up again under his cloak and starts going off on his way. Make an insight check
Okay.
on this exchange.
Yeah, I think I'm actually gonna burn that 12, and that's a 15.
Burn it! Whatever relationship these two people have is strange. It's not a financial arrangement. It's not an because if it was, then this man wouldn't be worrying about the coppers he's making selling stew. He'd be selling drugs instead. It's definitely not a romantic arrangement. This is not a May-December situation. It looks to you like this. I mean, you know the kid is in trouble. You heard that from the dryad you don't know about. It looks as like his father has forced him to take a job as this stew slinger's apprentice or whatever, and the old stew slinger man is allowing him to get away with not working it by giving him some quantity of this drug.
Yeah.
And the boy takes what's the rest of the parcel back into the house. The other thing that turned out to be, what, a 15?
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that strikes you as strange is obviously the boy doesn't have money of his own. He's been cut off from his father. So how is he paying for it? Becomes the question. This is an extremely expensive material.
Yeah, I think we're going to do some light B&E tonight, guys.
Yeah. We don't know. Do we know how much? Because we were told, more or less by the gentleman, this stuff was like 30 gold a hit, right? Is that kind of what we were told?
It can, and it's highly addictive. So any clientele that you get addicted to it, you're not able to keep up with supply, which is why the gentleman. It's just way more trouble than it's worth.
And like he gave that guy 2 hits, you said.
He gave the fishmonger guy probably enough to put in 2 pipes.
So that means he's got enough in the package to.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
He's
of
got
that
a
stuff
lot
that,
of money.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You don't know how much he's got in the package. He might have given the man half of what he got.
And if our suspicion is correct and the flying pig is handing this stuff out, he would be all for him giving away more of this stuff, getting more people addicted. So I think we're definitely going to break into this guy's house tonight and look for some stuff.
Okay.
Sure.
Who's doing?
If you guys have a better idea.
No. My better idea is don't let me break into the house because I'm wearing plate mail.
Fair.
Let's I would prefer if you were in the area though, Gus.
Oh yeah, no.
These things go astray.
Right, yeah.
So,
Can you take an hour off, Alex? Come
Yeah,
with us?
sure.
What is the range on? You have message, don't you?
I have message, yeah.
Yeah. What's the
It's
range on
like-
message?
120 feet, so it's
Oh.
fairly good.
Yeah, so I could just without
Don't you
breaking
have
into the
line of
house. No, you don't.
Without breaking the house, as long as you stand in a spot and do not move, I can get you messages and hear your reply.
Okay.
So it looks like Gus is going to get arrested for loitering next.
The second, because I have to know, where you are.
Yeah.
Okay, so what's the plan then?
I think the plan is
Do light
break out
beaming,
invisibility again,
fly up to the window.
fly up to that window, and toss the place looking for that looking for like a letter from the flying pig or any kind of suspicious stuff.
Who's doing this? Seeker?
I think Seeker.
What are the rest of you doing while Seeker's doing this?
What are the rest of us doing?
That's what I asked.
What is the
I mean,
what is the area around this where this kid is staying?
So he looks like he's staying at his family's manor house. What's interesting about this manor house, it's in West Harbor, which is not the nicest neighborhood in Dunfoss, but it is one of the most heavily trafficked. a lot of ships come in and out of West Harbor every day, and this is a shipping family.
Okay.
Do you think there's anything to be gained by talking with the patriarch of this manor house?
I mean, he's obviously not on the side of let my son do horrendously addictive drugs. So
Here's Seeker's perspective on this is if we break in now, right, and we try to find out what info we can, and then if we can't find enough to be certain, we then go to the guy and ask him for any information. Of course, not giving away that we broke it in, then fine. If we go to the guy now and he isn't willing to give us information, the entire place is going to be on guard.
All right then. Okay.
Easier to ask for forgiveness than permission, in Seeker's opinion.
Wait, who are you going to ask for permission to break into their house?
easy to ask forgiveness than permission.
I'm not even going to ask for the forgiveness, if I'm being completely honest.
So what, does everybody have a role in this plan, or is this just Seeker on his own with Gus nearby in case the S hits the F?
Are we going to, like, all be nearby? You said it's a pretty well-trafficked area, so a small group of loitering people wouldn't be that out of place, would it?
No, absolutely not.
Oh, we
Yeah.
can split up too. We don't even have to be a group.
I mean, there are bars and brothels in the area, so even very, very late at night, it'd be pretty well trafficked.
Florian,
Yeah.
I'd appreciate if you would come, or Alex, just for invisibility purposes, just so that I can concentrate on something else.
Yeah, I've got one invisibility left. Why don't you take it?
Okay.
Would, mechanics question, would invisibility negate the disadvantage on my stealth rolls, if that ever comes to it?
No, because the reason you've got disadvantage on your stealth rolls is because it's noisy to move in
Noisy.
armor.
Right. Okay, just wondering.
Well, it
Alex-
would. Let me rephrase that. You wouldn't get the advantage from being invisible, but the advantage would cancel out the disadvantage. You just wouldn't.
Yeah, that's what I was meaning.
Okay.
I wouldn't be rolling at disadvantage
Oh.
because I would.
I realized that wasn't a clear answer after
Yeah.
I heard after I heard the dumb words that came out of my rat face.
Words are hard, Brick Road. Let's
Words
be
are hard.
honest.
And it takes
And
so
then yeah,
many
Alex
of them.
will pick an alley, and he and Scrappy will be there. And if you need to, he's gonna stay in one place. If you need to message him.
What? You don't have invisibility, do you, Lucius? You have just fly.
I just have fly.
I think you should take a short rest and get that spell slot back before we
Yeah,
get this
absolutely.
operation.
Okay. Well, if you're doing this tonight, and you think the short rest is going to be an hour, the sun's already gone down by the time Seeker gets back.
Yeah.
Because he waited there for quite a long time.
Well,
So if you take a short rest, it's going to be another hour. It's going to be probably after midnight by the time you actually break in. Is that the intent?
That's fine, in my opinion.
Okay.
People will be asleep.
Sounds good.
sounds like
So Seeker's
Sounds like a
breaking
good
in.
time.
Alex, Scrappy, and Gus are in an alley nearby. Where are Florian and Lucius?
I think I'm with Scrappy and
What's the name of this Rakshasa that we think is a Rakshasa, but it's
Savad.
claiming to be a whatever it is?
Savant.
Savad? This place is 24 hours, right?
Yeah.
Shit, let's go get high.
that's all the way over here, though. Oh, no,
yeah, it's all the way on the other side of town.
We're over here. But there's a whorehouse nearby, apparently.
Yeah, but if we think he's the flying pig, we gotta get closer to that. We gotta be doing more stuff there.
If you want to go do some investigation on your own, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Once it's clear that Florian is not needed for his invisibility, he is going to go pay Savad of his with the explicit purpose of investigating / probably getting high.
well, this late at night, Savad will be asleep.
That's fine.
Okay.
In fact, that's probably better.
Sure.
Who knows?
So what is the
We'll see
nature
where
of your
this-
investigation? So there is a public kind of pillow room in the building, in the Dead Man's Den, one of the standard smoke rooms. And when you've been in there in the past, like the whole place has been clouds of smoke.
Is the girl that Seeker followed because there's been a girl by his side that's like addicted to this stuff, right? If I'm remembering correctly.
That's Starfingers. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
he has like a pet bard.
Okay.
She spends her days playing music outside of the Dead Man's Den for passersby to kind of entice people inside. You don't see her when you arrive this late at night. You surmise she's probably asleep inside.
Oh, okay. Guess she does need her rest too.
Florian's like, who sleeps?
I know, right?
Are you alone or is Lucius with you?
It's up to Lucius.
You know what? I don't think any of us should be wandering around town alone, so sure, why not?
Okay.
Florian's an adult. Theoretically.
No.
Bring drunk off along, have a party.
And usually people just wouldn't be permitted to just come straight into the building off the street in the middle of the night. But you are friends of Savad, and the place never really closes. So it has a couple of men on the door who are willing to unlock it and let you in to partake tonight.
Okay.
One of them asks you, so knowing that you're good friends of Savad, he would be remiss not to ask, because he knows he'll be questioned in the morning, what great troubles you're looking to escape from that you would come here so late at nights. Clearly something...
No troubles. Just out for a late night. Thought we'd pop in.
Well,
the boss will be glad to hear that you're both in good health.
alright, yeah. Let's roll with that.
Okay. Most of the bright lights, color candles of all different colors and things that you see when you usually come here are doused. So one of the men unlocks the door, brings you inside, lights a candle of his own, takes you back through into the pillow room area where maybe a half dozen people reclined, completely blasted out of their mind, or sleeping it off, or having wonderful hallucinatory dreams. And you're asked if you've brought your own pipes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And then you're asked what you will be having this evening.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how high does Florian get?
Florian's like, listen, man. Can you run and give me some of them chicken wings?
Let's, something light.
Yeah, Lucius is kind of the same mind.
Something to get a good buzz going. But I will
Okay.
just leave it at that. Something to get a good buzz going.
But you are both... Okay, go ahead and mark off, we'll say 2 gold for the two of you.
Sure.
Alright. Because Florian's intent is to be observant while battling being high.
So do you want... And on a scale of 1 to 10, how mind-altering of a substance would you like to be under the influence of?
1.
I'd say maybe a 2 for Lucius.
All right. Let's go ahead and you pay 2 gold each. And reclining on pillows, one of you across from the other one. This room, it's not a large building. And so the room, it's almost, if you want to picture like an airplane, where you have a very narrow walkway through the middle. And then on either side of you, you have cushions and sofas stacked up along the floor and the wall. The room at its maximum capacity, you could probably squeeze 20 people in here if they're willing to overlap their legs and arms. So you guys are on either side of this aisle. On the far end of the room is a small door that you surmise to just be a closet space. And sure enough, once or twice over the course of tonight, one of Servad's younger servants enters or exits. And when you get a glimpse in the room, you can see there is some candlelight in there. And you see a cot against the back wall, and then the door closes. Let's get a perception check from both of you.
At disadvantage or regular?
Nope, just regular.
Cool.
Just regular type.
What is perception?
That is an
That is an 16.
Okay.
3 for growth.
3. Lucius.
Yeah,
You see like pink elephants going into and out of the closet.
maybe a little bit. Yeah.
No, but I mean, you've been awake and working all day, and this is just the really, really good leaf.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just very difficult to not just doze back and relax.
Mm-hmm.
Florian.
Yes, sir.
Over the course of the night, you do see the servants come and go. That strikes you as odd because it's the middle of the night. There's nothing else to clean. You don't need to send runners anywhere. It's well after midnight. After being in there for an hour or two, so a couple hours before sunrise at this point, you've known that Savad, I mean, it's not uncommon, especially in Wharftown, for wealthy business owners to have like orphaned children doing business on their premises in exchange for a roof and food and sometimes apprenticeships. But you think, knowing that door must go to the edge of the building, and knowing it can't be much larger than a closet, like you could probably throw a cot in there. That's how you guys treat Kevin, right? Like a second-class citizen?
We treat Kevin well. What?
We sent him to war.
He wanted to go.
Let's not get into it. It's not important.
I watched
It's not important though.
I just watched the movie Jojo Rabbit last night, and I'm like, who does this character remind me of? And now I know, it's Kevin. That's him. That's the kid. No, Florian. You know you can convert a closet space like that into a sleeping quarters for a child. It's not difficult. But you're pretty sure you've seen more children go in there than can possibly fit. You think 1 or 2 have come out. You think you've seen 3 or 4 go in. Unless the kids are just stacking themselves up in a drawer, you don't know where they're all sleeping. There's just not enough physical space in what has to be a small closet. Unless there's an opening into the next building or underground or a stairway or something to that nature.
Interesting.
Or an opening to the night.
Meanwhile, so Seeker, we've cast invisibility
Cast invisibility.
and fly.
I don't know fly.
Let's
And I
get
give you
abandoned
recruits.
my good friend Lucius.
an investigation check from the 3 of you who are at the West Harbor Manor.
Like 3 checks or just 1?
No, individual checks, 1 for each of you.
Sure.
Is this for checking outside the manor or inside?
Outside.
That's a pretty good roll. Okay.
We've got a 15. Let me double
Gus
check.
has an 18.
23.
Okay. So between the 3 of you, you've managed to work out which of the upstairs outward-facing windows belongs to the sun. So you don't have to break into the house and try to sneak all around it.
Okay.
Look, Seeker, there's the smoke.
Well, so here's my thought:
Mhm.
is you're a nobleman's son. You have this item, which you have said if your father finds, he will kill you.
Mhm.
Do you have 1 or 2 secret hiding places? Probably 1. So if I use locate object and look for this powder,
Mhm.
it'll probably be, if he has one, wherever he's keeping the letter.
Okay.
That's my thought. So I'm going to cast locate object looking for the powder.
Interestingly, you do not locate the powder in the upstairs bedroom that you surmise belongs to the sun. It's in a smaller, well, you don't know how big the room is because you haven't been in the house yet, but it's on the bottom floor of the house around the back. So it would have to be, it's in the building, but it would have to be a servant's quarters or a kitchen area or something like that on the downstairs.
All right.
It's not in his room.
Here's what I think my game plan is, guys. I think I'm going to check there first. It's possible that he's paying off a servant with this powder, in which case I find the powder. It's it's clearly not his. It's something that he pinched off on someone. I move on to the bedroom. If that's the case, since I'm currently closer to the bedroom, it means he has some sort of lead-lined container somewhere. So that's what I'm going to look for.
Yeah, that's probably lead-lined container. That makes sense. I was going to suggest, why don't you just, locate object on the wax?
That's a good thought. And if I can't find it in his bedroom, that'll be my next step. Thank you.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm going to look into the servants.
So invisibly flying around the back of the house, there is indeed a door standing open. There's some light coming from inside of it, probably from a hearth. It's too large to be just a flicker of candle light. And you hear movement inside. Somebody's cleaning or preparing food or doing some sort of work inside. And that's the room that your silver powder ping has come from.
Is there any window or door?
Yeah, there's a door that's open up into
All right.
the yard in the back of the manor house.
Is the door currently open?
Yes, it is.
I'm gonna try to slip in.
Oh.
Make a dexterity saving throw.
Okay. Is it against magic or a spell?
It is not.
That is a 8.
An 8?
Oh.
Sneaking up to the back door, you're going to figure, I'll just poke my head in. I'll see what's going on. And you hear the creak of a floorboard. And you realize somebody's approaching the door from the inside. And you're just about to turn and flat yourself up against the wall so they don't run into you, when suddenly somebody throws a huge bucket of washing water out. And it sloshes all over your face and down your side. And the person who threw the water is just looking... Because imagine seeing the water slosh against an invisible person and hit the ground on the other side. It looks very strange. And you can tell that she's confused. This servant lady wearing this dingy apron, heavy bags under her eyes. You can smell fresh bread being baked. The morning bread is in there. And you can tell, she sets the bucket down and she kind of rubs her eyes for a moment. And you can tell she's still maybe partially asleep. What do you do?
All right. Here's what I'm going to do. Give me 1 second.
Ooh, make ghost noises.
Am I going to make ghost noises?
Not gonna lie, if that was me, that's what I'd be doing right now.
It'd been funnier if she was throwing white paint out of the back door, but I couldn't possibly justify that.
They were whitewashing the walls, and it's just...
just at 3 a.m, just so happens.
That's something a DM does out of spite.
I'm not a spiteful man.
So, I think what I'm going to do is... What she saw is a bunch of water get splashed, hit something, and it looked like a big frickin' mess.
I mean, you have to imagine this woman probably does this every single morning, and she's used to seeing the water slosh out, and she didn't... It did something weird for a split second.
Yeah.
She doesn't know what.
I think what I'm going to do is move to the side so I'm out of the way.
Yeah.
And use minor illusion to make it looked like it's just foggy outside. So
Okay.
that she looks outside, it looks foggy. She's not sure what she saw. Maybe she'll look around a bit more, but hopefully she'll give it up.
This minor illusion doesn't have a verbal component, does it?
It does not.
Okay. See, if I was a spiteful DM, I would count this as an attack, which would break your invisibility.
Oh no.
Because technically,
See,
you're
that's
attacking her senses with an illusion, right?
That's true.
I'd say that's a stretch.
Nodal's like, that's what I would do now. And that's exactly what happens. You make the back look foggy, and she kind of wipes the sleep from her eyes and kind of cranes her neck out. She goes back in, lights a candle, a little candlestick, and reaches it out. Looks up at the moon, shakes her head, and kind of stumbles back inside. Then you hear a door close just inside the kitchen.
Okay. I'm going to, because I don't want to be walking around with soaking wet clothes. That's going to give me away right away. I'm going to step away from the house,
Yeah.
use prestidigitation to
Okay.
dry myself off,
Mm-hmm.
and then try to sneak back in again. Hopefully she's not about to get me with round 2.
Same thing, except this time she's using a spear just to be
Just
sure.
for fun.
So it's a pretty lavish kitchen. We're very well stocked, and she does have 2 wood-burning stoves where she's preparing the morning meal. You can smell fresh bread baking, and you can see where she has some quantity of laundry that she's washing, just scrubbing down the other end of the room. She's not in here at the moment. And what do you do?
All right, I'm going to go looking for... I should still have the locate object up telling me where the powder is, so I'm going to go try to beeline to that.
The floor of the room, it's a stone floor. And it's fairly handsome looking. Very good masonry. Definitely dwarven or gnomish work. With irregularly shaped but interlocking stones. The kind of thing that doesn't happen by accident. Usually if it's like a lazy-ass human were going to do this, they'd use bricks and mortar them in place. That's not what's happened here. And your ping is coming from one of the stones in the corner, where there is an unused wooden bucket with a broom poking out of it, and some pots hanging overhead. And it's pinging underneath that bucket.
All right, I'm going to... Can I use investigation to see if I'm about to set off like some kind of audio trap?
You try to... Yeah, do an investigation check, see if you can find a trap.
Listen, I'm just thinking, like, wire or something basic like that. I'm not thinking, like, end of days
Sorry,
thing. 10.
Every minute you spend in this room is another chance for someone to wander in.
Yeah, 10.
Stare at the bucket, and it continues to be made out of wood and also be a bucket.
Yeah, let's flip the bucket over.
So we go to pick the bucket up, and underneath you see one of these irregularly placed stones in the floor. And you can tell that there's a chip in one side of it, and it appears to be loose.
Let's wiggle it out.
And after just a moment, you get your fingernails underneath and pry it up, and there's a small, just space bored into the foundation of the house, which contains the ripped open parcel you saw from earlier, and a flattened, very well folded and worn note that looks like it's been opened and closed many, 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 many times. And a very badly maintained pipe. And you're taking inventory of these items. And just then, the door to the side of the room swings open. And the woman enters back in, having a conversation with a man about her age. About how much work she has to do in the morning and how the new servant they have on, because she's the master's favorite, she's being allowed to sleep in very early, so she has to do the wash and the bread and every other thing, and he makes some kind of muttered just crack about how perhaps she's up there warming his bed, and they have a little giggle and chitter about it. The man beats out a rug out the back door, shaking dust off of it, and then when he comes back in, closes the kitchen door.
Okay. Is anyone in the room?
Yeah, both of them are in the kitchen. They're starting to go about their morning tasks.
Okay, then here's what I'm gonna do.
Yeah.
I'm going to first of all, take inventory of the note. What does the note say?
You have no idea because you'd have to pick it up out of there and unfold it.
Okay, so there's no way to like even grab the stuff without attention.
I mean, to their eyes, it would look like it just floated up out of a hole in the floor.
Okay, got it. Yeah, because it won't turn invisible because it wasn't on me when I cast the spell.
Sure.
Okay. So here's what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I'm going to point in the direction that I left Alex.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna ask him to have Scrappy start barking outside the back door.
Scrappy is not a dog.
Scrappy doesn't bark. I'll go order Scrappy to go and start like bashing, any trash cans or anything like that.
Yeah, just make a ruckus.
Yeah.
So you start hearing this ruckus out in the street. Like, what is Scrappy bashing? There's not like metal trash cans sitting out.
I mean, what do you got?
Probably go into the alleyway. There might be refuse piles
Yeah,
back there. I
that's
mean,
good.
you could tear up cobblestones in the street.
I don't want to do any property damage if I can help it. So yeah, let's just mess with the refuse.
Gus, what are you
Digging
doing?
through trash.
I was about to say, like, if you want to make noise, I could just go back there and pretend to be a loud, belligerent drunk. I got practice at that.
Scrappy's a dog.
Scrappy's badger.
The man opens up the back door and leaves to go investigate the sound. How long does minor illusion last?
Minor illusion would not have lasted until then.
Okay.
It's just a minute.
So you hear him say something about, I told you it wasn't foggy outside. As he goes
That's
to
fine.
check out the ruckus. She's still in there going about her tasks.
All right. If I can't find a moment when she has her back turned, I'm going to grab the stuff and book it. Otherwise, I am going to... If I can slip out the door, I'm going to. Otherwise, if she looks like she's going to spot me, I'm going to Misty Step, which is going to cause a verbal component.
It's impossible to say whether she'll spot you. She's moving quite a lot through this room. So there are times when she's facing you and times when it's not.
Okay, well, the next time when she's not facing me, I don't want to waste my chance.
Yep.
I'm just going to grab it and attempt to get out of there.
Get out just by running out.
Yeah.
Make a dexterity check. So you're taking all the items in the hole. Is that correct?
I'm taking everything and putting the rock back.
Okay, putting the rock back in place.
Yep.
Make a dexterity check.
All right, I am going to burn my 19. That is a 20.
So you very quickly snatch up the items, tuck them in one of your pockets, and put the stone back in the floor as gingerly as you can, and set the bucket back in place. And you're pretty sure she's noticed something funny, but you're not sure what. So you start hoofing it towards the door. The man standing outside throwing a bucket of water in the room this time, asshole. Got you again.
Oh, frick! Dexterity saving throw.
No, you run out, and she's definitely seen something strange. And you can tell because she's calling for the man to come back in as you're turning the corner. Alex.
Yeah.
2 moss caps are coming up the road in the direction of Scrappy, causing this ruckus. They're moving
I'll order
fairly
him to just
quickly.
get out of the way.
You'll what?
I'll just order him to just run back, run out of the what neighborhood are we in?
You're in
White
West
Hart?
Harbor.
West Harbor? Yeah, I'll just order him to head down the alley. I mean, Scrappy's pretty damn fast, so I'll order him to head all the way to the market district through Broken Wall.
So the idea is to make these moss caps chase him?
Yeah.
Okay. And that's easy enough. As you make this order and Scrappy starts tearing ass down the street, the moss caps reverse direction. They were out here to investigate this loud ruckus at 4 or 5 in the morning. And now they're chasing him towards Market District.
Like, what happens when they catch up to him, Alex?
He's got 40 feet of movement.
Hopefully he's faster than they are.
Moss
Yeah,
caps do a lot of
so-
benefits. So Seeker, you come back around the side of the house. You see the man standing in the street, kind of craning his neck. Shakes his head. It's been a very eventful morning. And he turns back towards the house.
All right, I'm going to duck around the wall and try to get a look at that letter.
Okay.
I am circling around to meet Scrappy, so I'm sending him basically to go like. Whereas I'm gonna go this way.
You circle this big hill?
Yeah.
Gus, what are you doing?
I'm waiting out front for. Well, we're in our meeting spot for Seeker,
Okay.
so he knows what's going on.
Seeker, taking a look at the letter, you recognize the script as infernal.
Okay, perfect.
And you don't see the orange seal on it, but it's extremely likely a letter that's been opened and closed this many times. A wax seal can just wear off.
Yep. I think I point towards Gus, and I send him the message. I found something. Let's meet back at the barge. And then if you have anything to say back to me, you can respond.
Those wings were really good. We should get some more tomorrow.
All right, and I'm going to make my way back to the barge.
Oh, no. Yeah. I guess we're taking different routes.
I don't see any reason to meet up.
Yeah, so I'll just kind of walk around through the market district and around. Well, I mean, like, that's the only way back, because High Court's locked at this hour, right?
There are gates at High Court. I mean, you could walk through it. You might get hassled by the guards if there are any at the gates.
No, I'll just go around the long way.
So, Alex, when you
Yeah.
intercept Scrappy coming around the hill, and the moss caps are chasing and yelling at this point, like, do you have
Are they fast enough to keep up with him?
Absolutely not. But they're not extremely far behind, and it's difficult to miss where Scrappy has been.
Okay.
So, do you have a story in place to talk to these moss caps, or are you just going to try to hop on and elude them?
Scrappy's got a pack saddle and 40 feet of movement, so.
So you just
Pop the collar on his trench coat. I can't see you. Just ride into the sunrise.
Gus, you're working your way through the market district. You just hear whee coming up the road behind you. Alex, like a bat out of hell, riding his giant metal badger.
The thing I love is that we've got half of the team performing like a Mission Impossible thing over there. And we've got the other half of the team just getting stoned out of their mind.
So here's the other thing, though,
We're
about
great
that.
detectives. Let's be honest.
Which half of the team found the more useful information? Probably the team getting stoned.
Really?
You think?
You found an extremely suspicious door.
Yeah.
You found evidence.
Yeah.
Reconvening at the barge in the morning after sunup. You know what? Let's actually have Alex make a stealth check.
Sure.
Let's see if the moss caps can pick up your trail.
Are we gonna have to bail Alex out of jail again?
Well, that's a 5.
A 5?
Yeah.
Can I still blips that I can make him succeed? I don't know about cops right now.
So arriving back at the barge,